All right. So now, since we was talking about Miss Perry, let's get into Tyler because we were talking about him in the other article. But I was like, let's hold off for when we have to get to this part. So yeah, Straw came out. I think it wasn't this week; it was the week before, and I guess it's a big hit for Netflix. It has gotten a 70 something. I think it was 72% on Rotten Tomatoes, something or another. So it is one of the better scored Tyler Perry movies. I'm not particularly a Tyler Perry fan because I feel like it's a lot of exploitation of black trauma that he does a lot in his films. And there, he's another one who's a product of making the same damn movie over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's just that you just change the names and you change the actors. So yeah, so now he's come under a little bit of scrutiny because Black internet is divided over this debate that, in regards to his film. So so it's 76% on Rotten Tomatoes, I should say that, which is his highest number. So The Root, shout out to y'all, because this is where I got this story from. And so it says Tyler Perry won the weekend with his Netflix film Straw, the latest project to come out of his multi-year first look deal with the streamer. The emotional drama written, directed, and produced by Perry stars Taraji P. Henson as Janiyah. I actually worked with a girl named Janiyah, by the way, a struggling mother, single mother, I should say, who finds herself at the end of her rope after a series of devastating events make it even more difficult to care for her sick daughter. Which, if you're wondering how the daughter's sick, it just says that she has seizures and all this other stuff. So, if you've seen the movie, basically Taraji works. She's like a cashier, something or another, works in a store. Her manager is an asshole, which I'm like, I don't know any manager that's taught this way, and still have a job. But this is Tyler Perry writing how he writes, which is always a sense of melodrama and unrealistic situations that he loves putting his characters in, but will entertain the foolishness. So, she has a little menial job trying to make ends meet. She's struggling to pay her rent. She can't afford to take care of her child with the medical needs and other stuff. She's in the middle of work getting, talked down to by her boss, then gets a call to the school and has a situation where they're like the child not eating and she smells and all this other stuff. And it's like, she's going through it. Taraji Janiyah going through it. She don't have no help. She's struggling financially. She's at the end of her rope. So she goes down to the school. They take the child away from her. She's having a breakdown. Then she's driving in a car and then she gets into an accident and all this stuff happens. Then she goes back to the job. Then the store gets robbed. Then Taraji gets the gun. Then she pow-pows one of the people. Then she actually takes her check that's got covered in blood down to the bank to cash it, which I don't understand how this girl in 2025 don't have direct deposit, but yet and still she took that check down to the bank, cashed it, trying to cash, didn't have an ID. Y'all know me. Apparently not. They need your ID, sis. So you get Sherry Shepherd, no neck, having ass, come out trying to be all, trying to help the situation. You know what? This review is going completely different than I was expecting. But anyway, so yeah. So then Sherry Shepherd comes out. She's the manager, all this other stuff at the bank. Then the whole situation comes. Drama ensues. They won't cash her check because she don't have the ID. She pulls out the gun. The place gets surrounded by cops. Tiana Taylor with her, that another one of Tyler Perry horrible wigs, being the police officer that everybody respects. They're trying to talk Janiyah off the ledge. A bunch of drama ensues. So it just like keeps going and going and going. I'm like, nobody's life is really this damn traumatic, but it's a Tyler Perry production. And so people was pissed off about it. People were sitting up here saying that they tired of seeing Black women in situations of peril and struggle. And this is not how, there needs to be some sort of a balance. That's what people are asking for. That he continues to make billions, I should say, not even millions, billions, because he is a billionaire and he has his own studio. But yeah, when people are criticizing for capitalizing on Black women's struggles. So they said, quote, his latest offering, Straw, is trash, like all his movies, but the women love this ish. This is what one person wrote. Now, in a TikTok video where it says at Tia Rad _, excuse me, said she couldn't bring herself to watch the film more than once, arguing that she preferred to see more uplifting stories about Black women on the screen. Actually, let me see if I can open up that video and see if I can find that for y'all, because I just saw I had the, oh yeah, I got it. So let me actually play what she had to say in this. Because that was not planned. I was like, you want to say maybe it's better. I mean, I can criticize too, because I am somebody who has watched Tyler Perry movies over the years. But I do feel like, let's hear it from a sister and see what she had to say. If I can remember how to share my damn screen. See, this is why I told her I can't take a couple of days off because I forget how to work my damn show. Please hold. Okay, I got it. Let me close this. TikTok is getting on my, oh, no. Now I'm looking a mess out here. I was like, how do we, okay. Is the volume on? Is the volume on? Is the volume on? Yeah, let's go back.
So y'all, everybody is talking about the Tyler Perry movie Straw, and I just want to give a honest review on the movie. I like the movie. I think the actors did an amazing job. However, I will not be watching it again. You know how there's just some movies you just watch one time and one time was enough. Although it was a good movie, you just would not be watching it again. Straw was one of those movies. So of course we know Tyler Perry, he, I don't say glorifies the struggle, but he pretty much, all his movies are about struggle, mainly within the Black community, mainly within Black women. And it would be nice to see something else happening with Black women, but that's his niche and that's just what he's going with. Get it, got it. As a mother and as a single mother, I just personally feel like it was just a little bit too much for me. I'm personally thankful that although single motherhood is hard, I'm thankful that I've never had it that hard. And for a lot of people, it went over their head. The woman was in grief. And a lot of times as women, as a lot of times as people, as women, as mothers, we don't even have time to process what we're going through because we just have to keep going. And honestly, we all one tragedy away from clocking the hell out. I'm just being honest with you. Like, we all just one tragedy away from clicking out of reality. And that's what she did. She couldn't even grasp the concept that her daughter was gone because all she knew is to go, not even process the emotion, just go with everyday life. And to be honest, I don't think anyone would be able to handle something happening all the time, whether it's an unhappy home life, whether it's a crappy job, illness with your children, car trouble, just something going on at every turn. That's enough to make anyone click out. And I just felt like the movie was relatable, but it was just a little bit too relatable for me. Good movie, great actors, would not be watching it again.
All right. Well, that was our overall assessment. And there's nothing wrong with dealing with grief. And so I do agree with that especially when you're a woman of color, Black women particularly, not allowed to process a lot of what's going on. It's always, okay, this is happening. I can't get too bad. I got to keep it moving. That was like me the other day when I was on the damn train. This bitch wasn't holding on to the damn pole or whatever, sitting there cackling with her friends in front of me. The train stops short. She steps on my foot and falls on me. You don't think I was pissed? I went off. But not before it was just like, okay, I can't be doing too much because if I'm like in uniform, whatever the case is, and I'm cussing these people out, I can get in trouble over this. And I don't want, like, I'm not being a reflection of the job. Well, I didn't have my full uniform on, so they ain't know where the hell I work. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, we're not, a lot of times when things happen to us, even if it's an accident, whatever the case is, it's like you don't have a lot of time to process certain things before when it's like, okay, you can't let this bother you. You still got a lot of this stuff going on. We still have to keep trucking through. And we should be allowed to have those emotional moments where we could just break down and have a situation. But the problem is with Tyler Perry, and nobody's saying that. Well, I guess maybe some people are saying that they're tired of you doing the same thing over and over. Like, you've been telling the same story for 2 decades. That's the issue. So it's like you can tell those stories. We're aware of like how much grief and pain Black women go through, but you've been telling the same story for 20 years. It comes a point in time where it's like, you got anything else in the arsenal that you want to tell a story about? Like, I don't understand how you a billionaire with your own studio and we don't see like these. Where is the black romantic comedy where you got Coffee Cerebral and I can't think of, I'll say, since I'm looking at it, like a Tiana Taylor in the lead or a Kelly Rowland. But then y'all put that horrible ass movie out with Kelly Rowland. So it's like, mm-hmm. But where's that rom com where you have two dark skinned leads in the film, where it's not the only way that you see a black person in a rom com is it's got to be of a mixed race relationship, which is what we normally see in mainstream films. You barely see rom coms with people outside of being white in movies. I mean, except we did have that one with Pedro Pascal that came out this weekend and it bombed. But Pedro Pascal is white presenting, so that's different. Even though that name is very Latino, he's white presenting because of his complexion. So where are those black leading rom-coms? Where is that science fiction action movie where you have black leads in it? Where it's like Angela Bass is the captain of her own ship or whatever, and there's like aliens have infiltrated the ship and they're all getting killed. I'm just using it as an example. That ain't got to be the plot. But where is those lead films where you see a lot of these powerful black actors in positions of power? Where's that full-fledged black horror movie? Why aren't we coming up with? And I'm saying because if you don't have the vernacular or the wherewithal or the bandwidth to come up with these stories, and don't get me wrong, I know there ain't no way in hell Tyler Perry, with his empire, is able to come up with all these stories and not have writer's block. Hence why I do feel like a lot of his product does suffer because it's literally you writing the same script over and over. I feel like sometimes you go through your scripts and you just be regurgitating shit, expecting people not to notice. So yeah, a lot of people be calling them out on it. It's like, I get that's your niche, I get that's what you do, but it's gonna get to a certain point where it's like, and I feel like we're at that point where people just want something a little different. People want something a little new. Some people want something fresh. And I don't understand when you get black people in power, where is that diversity? Where is that variety? And I'm talking about diversity in regards of products. I'm not talking in quality of your movies, not quantity. And I'm talking about, yeah, when I'm talking about diversity, I'm talking about like, where is the different genres of movies you explore? Like if I had my own studio that I was running, I would definitely have a team of writers where it's like, okay, I need somebody can y'all find me a script and we're going to diversify. We're going to make a horror movie. But the whole core of what this studio is about, it's about uplifting diverse people of color. So if you are someone who's Muslim, got a good story, we'll make it over here at the studio. If you have the money, I mean, if you have an idea, which is like a slasher movie, which is with a predominantly black cast, if it's good, I'll look at it, I'll buy it, we'll get it made. So I don't understand why you in these positions, you continue to make the same movie over and over. And Tyler Perry at the end of the day can do whatever the hell he wants in his own studio. But I think what bothers me about him is the fact that, yes, you're going to have those people that criticize what you make. He has a problem with y'all criticizing him. He always comes up and he's always bitter about it, or he always got some little clapback or whatever the case is. And it's like, sir, you have to be aware that you have to be open for criticism if you're going to be in this space of movie making. And if people are feeling like your product is not delivering, that it's a little too much on the melodrama, that it's a lot of scenarios that people are like, okay, this is not believable in certain situations. Even though the young lady that we just posted, she was like, it was a little too real for her, that she could relate to a lot of this stuff. So that's her term of events. That's something that she can relate to in that some sort of way, but not everybody is going to be able to relate to all of that. And it's like, yeah, first of all, I know a lot of people ain't dealing with all that stuff in there, but it's like some of the underliningness of what's going on with grief and trauma and all this stuff, we could all relate to that. But all the events happening at once in that day, I'm like, is that realistic for some people? I definitely want to know from y'all. You could drop that down in the comments. But he's made billions of dollars exploiting the trauma of black women. And if this is the way that they're okay with it, like I know, like my mother and my sister, they're the demographic, my cousins, my aunts and all them, they are the demographic for these type of films. They love Tyler Perry. My mother loves Tyler Perry movies. My sister loves Tyler Perry movies, TV shows. He could do no wrong. If I'm calling him out on stuff, I'm a hater. But it's like, no, I always want more for my people. I'm not somebody that is just going to sit and settle for stuff because, a black man in in a position of power is giving opportunities. I'm here for an opportunity. I'm grateful for an opportunity. However, the way you go about the opportunity is where the issue goes. And if the only way that we're going to accept and be happy for opportunity is off of the exploitation of black pain, then I don't want it. Hence why I don't watch slave movies. Because it's like, how many goddamn slave movies y'all gonna make? We got it. We know what happened in those days. I know maybe some kids need their memories refreshed because we're in a current situation where politicians are trying to erase history from America and white people's, part in the overall treatment of black people in slavery and how we in modern day slavery, if you ask me. When you look at gentrification and all that other stuff, we can get into that, but I got a whole lot of other topics to get to, and this is not a political show. This is hot topics. Celebrity news and gossip. That's what we're doing here. So I can totally get in that sort of situation, and hence why and I almost forgot to bring him up because I was about to wrap this show up or this topic. Ryan Coogler, which I'm sure probably has somebody like a Tyler Perry shaking in his boots, because Ryan Coogler had created something called Sinners, which talks about our history and the exploitation of the trauma and all that stuff that we dealt with, and how we are exploited by white people, and the history of like our music and all this other stuff, and seeing all that and showing that what, we are not bound by the things and by our past, by our trauma, by those things. And the way that certain characters, particularly that scene with Delroy Lindo, where he was explaining what happened when it was like they had the money that they made from performing and they went out and they were having a good time, and then the white man went and lied, and because he pulled out one of the friends pulled out a wad of money and basically said like, oh, he stole that from a white man, which he didn't. He earned that on his own accord. And we didn't. And from him telling the story alone was compelling enough versus you having to show it on screen. And you can hear the lynching, the sounds of the lynching while you were watching the movie, based off of Delroy Lindo having that moment in the car where they were driving through the cotton field. And he was explaining a traumatic situation that happened in his life. And you hearing the sound effects go along with that. To me, that's more effective than having to see sweaty ass Taraji with her edges looking a mess, that hair needing some grease, and her looking sweaty and funky while she going through her moment because she's having a breakdown. Hence, there's a movie also called Breakdown. But yeah, so I definitely want to hear from y'all. What did you guys think of this story? And did you see Straw? And are you at your final straw over the shenanigans that Tyler Perry continues to, put out here in regards of what people are calling his exploitation of Black women and their trauma in his movies? So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.